So I'm not getting ready for a date night right now, but I am getting ready to grab coffee and meeting a new friend. So I'm just gonna do what I did yesterday because it's a great daytime look. So for hair, I already have everything parted and separated the same as yesterday. I really didn't touch anything. I went to the beach, so I have salt hair, but nothing really got messed up sleeping, so I'm just gonna touch it up. All I'm doing is taking a 1 1/4 inch curling iron. For my bangs, I'm gonna curl them away from my face. And on the sides, I'm just gonna take smaller sections, like super tiny pieces. I'm gonna curl away from my face, and then I'm gonna do some towards my face. This is just how I touch up my hair that is already dried, nice and beachy. You could use a 1 inch curling iron. You're just gonna get less of a wave, more of a curl. I don't think I'm gonna hairspray my hair today, maybe just a little finishing spray before I leave, because I already have product from yesterday in here. And side note, I didn't even brush my hair this morning. I probably can do the back a little bit before I leave, but I find when I don't brush it, it gives nice volume. Okay, and that took like no time, so let's move on. I'm just gonna lay these pieces up and back away from my face. Okay, I'm starting the skin off with this Tatcha Camellia oil, beauty oil. I have dry skin, so beauty oil just gives me a deeper hydration than regular moisturizer. It just depends on the day. Sometimes I'll use both, but I just find I really have been loving the oils lately. I'm also going to use the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. Is anybody else falling into the maskne crowd? Because same. Maskne is basically just acne from wearing face mask. While that sinks into the skin, I'm gonna brush up my brows, and I'm not gonna fill in my brows because when we fill in our brows, we're adding contrast. I have pretty normal, I would say normal eyebrows. They're not too thin, not too thick. So if you have thinner brows, go ahead and fill in any sparse areas. The goal is just to keep them soft and natural. So what I'm doing is I'm going in with a tinted brow gel. So the brow gel is going to fill them in naturally. This is a great technique for every day. See just what that did on its own? Just gives a soft little natural fill in. This product is from Eyebrow Queen, and the goal is to just have them brushed up, get them coated so that it creates a great lift on the face. And it's just soft. If any brow gel comes up here, like if any color comes up here, you just wipe it away. And that's all I'm gonna do for brows. Okay, now let's move on to skin. So I recently took a trip to Ulta. I think you've probably seen that in a past vlog. And I found this Too Faced Full Coverage Fresh Glow Foundation. If you've been to Ulta as of recently, the testers are not out. So I went with my tone of foundation, but I went with the warmer one. So when I put it on, it comes off a little bit yellow, but it ends up evening itself out. I'll also probably mix in a little bit of my YSL foundation because this has SPF and it has a nice dewy shine. So both of these foundations give a nice glow to the skin. Even though this says full coverage, to me this isn't full coverage when I put it on. I'm also going to break out an old school technique, which is using a classic triangle sponge. This has just been my thing lately for myself. I've just been loving the way it applies makeup. It's more sanitary than a beauty blender, and it just gives the same effect. I'm gonna start with the foundation, and then I'm just gonna do a pump of Touche Eclat. I just love mixing foundations. Start stippling it on, sometimes swiping to distribute the product. So I'm just stamping the product on, and already it has such a natural finish and sheen. Oh, I was also gonna say, when I went into Ulta to get this line, Tutti Frutti, I think it is, was all 50% off. So I think this foundation was like $20, maybe less. And it smells like watermelon, which I'm all about. And I do go over my eyelids with the foundation too. And the most important thing is to keep pressing it into the skin. Pressing it into the skin is a technique that will help your foundation look very natural. Okay, once I feel like the foundation is in a good place, I'm gonna go in with my new favorite concealer, which is from e.l.f. Cosmetics. Who knew? If you know me, you know I'm an advocate for quality. I prefer high quality cosmetics over drugstore. Just plain and simple. I haven't had good experiences in the drugstore. I find that the products compared to one another, products in CVS versus products in Sephora, have a quality difference. They have a scent difference. They have a difference in the way they sit on the skin, they break out, but every skin is different. And I know that a lot of my clients have their drugstore OGs and favorites. So while it was never a fit for me, I went into Target with Monica yesterday, and she's like, did you know the new e.l.f. concealers are like Tarte Shape Tape? And I'm like, okay, like I've heard so many dupes for things and they haven't really been the same. Like it'll be the same color, but it's not the same tone, texture, longevity, all that stuff. I was like, you know what, let me just try it and I'll let you know my thoughts. So the one I got is the e.l.f. Hydrating Camo Concealer Satin Finish. This would be my go-to for everybody, unless you have super oily skin to the point where you put on makeup and then you see oil. The satin finish one. Why? Because it's similar to a serum. So long story short, I used it. I love it. I would get these for my kit. That's how good they are. The only thing I haven't tested yet is the longevity and the long wear of it, because I've only worn it yesterday for a couple hours. So today will really be the test. The shade that I am, which is the perfect match, is Fair Beige, which is more of that neutral tone. It is Samru approved. Let's do it. So why I like this, one, like I said, it has that serum like formula, I guess. It covers. It's a good shade, and it doesn't have that strong of a scent. I haven't used the other one, but this one's the Hydrating Camo. I find sometimes when I use drugstore concealers, they have this weird paint smell to them, like fumey. Like if I really went in and smelt it, it just smells like makeup. It doesn't smell like anything too fumey. Just get the maskne over here. I like to take the sponge and press in the edges. Or I'll take my finger, but I'm gonna start with the sponge and just see if that will do what it needs to. The sponge I'm gonna use on the edges, and then because I don't want to pick up the product on the middle part, I'm gonna use my finger. Please excuse my nails. I just have given up on them this year. Comment below if you've given up on your nails this year. Pressing in the product closer to my eye to maintain the coverage. And then whatever's left on the sponge, I'm gonna go over my eye again, press out any creases. This is what we have right now. How good is that concealer? I'm a fan. While the skin is still wet, I'm gonna take a liquid luminizer. Yesterday I used two different ones. One is Starstruck Matchstick from Fenty. The other is Makeup Forever Ultra HD Soft Light. You can use one, the other, just anything that's a cream highlight. Cream highlights go on very skin-like, and this one I just love the dramatic sheen it gives. And layering two different liquid highlighters gives some dimension. So again, taking the sponge, just softening the edges. You could use your finger for this too. The goal is to just not have a harsh line and to have everything blending seamlessly. I'll even go right under the brow with this too. A little on the lid. That's what I love about this product. It's like multifunctional. So I've just put a little on my lid and the brow bone. Okay, soft light. Tapping on the highest point of the cheekbone. I'm going in with Laura Mercier translucent powder, a fluffy brush, and I'm just loading it up, tapping it off, making sure I have no creases under my eye. Pat it in if you need to. Looking up and tapping. Then I put the rest of the powder all over my face. Now I'm not putting majority of the powder on that highlighter just yet. I'm gonna tap the majority of my face first with what's on there, and then whatever's left on the brush after that, I'll just tap over that highlighter just to set it in place. If I need to go in with a little bit more powder, I'll take a brush that's smaller, get powder loaded up onto it, and then just spot powder. Just any place that needs a little bit more love. Okay, next I'm taking the Kylie Cosmetics bronzer in khaki, using like a fluffier powder brush. I'm kind of gonna contour with this, but I'm basically just bronzing the outer parts of my face, which will give a natural contour. See just how subtle that is? It's not incredibly chiseled, it just kind of pops out the natural contours of my face. I'm gonna go in with a cream over the powder. The powder I did was soft enough to add this without disrupting what's happening. So what I'm doing is taking this lipstick from Illamasqua called Cosmic, and I'm just gonna use that as my blush. If you're afraid to go right in over top of your makeup, you can put some on the back of your hand, use the sponge, and just stipple it on. So I'm gonna just tap this as my blush. This is such a good rose tone. And I'm also gonna put a little bit on my eyes. This is gonna look funny for a second. And swipe over my lips. And now we're gonna blend. I'm gonna blend with my finger for my eyes. Okay, to reinforce this blush a little bit, I'm going in with Innisfree blusher in number 5 and the same bronzer brush, and I'm just gonna set that lipstick in place with this. This is a more sheer blush again, so it'll just create a soft set. So now we kind of have a blush bronzer mixture on here, and whatever's left I'm just gonna tap my eyes with. So now we have this beautiful dust of color on our eyes. If you wanted to intensify the highlight a little bit, you could go in with a soft highlighter right over top. This is Laura Geller Baked Highlighter. I'll just do it for camera purposes. Oof, so pretty. Right under the brow. It just gives that beautiful lit from within look. Sometimes, not all the time, it just depends on the day, I'll go in with a little powder foundation just right here. Like you'll see there's a little sheen there. Go in with, this is MAC Studio Fix, which is a little heavy, but I'm gonna use it very sparingly. And I'll just tap right there and right here. Powder foundation. Fabulous. Okay, so now this is one of my favorite colors. This is from the Lorac Pro, but it's basically like a taupe matte transition shade, if you will. Fluffy brush, MAC 224. Load it up, tap it off, and I'm just gonna dust this over everything. But I start, like I tilt my head back, and I start in the crease, and I'm almost tapping. I'm tapping on the color and blending it as I do so. Starting in the crease and then tapping onto the lid. I'm gonna take a pencil brush and distribute that product underneath. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna combine this shimmery, it's almost like a bronze tone, mix it with this, and I'm gonna create a soft liner with this and a pencil brush. So I'm gonna, let me zoom you in. So I'm gonna drag this very close to my lash line, hugging the lash line. And then just extending it up. And then I'm gonna slowly blend the edge of it kind of up into that lid. Now I'm just gonna set my face with Power Lock Christopher Buckle. You can use any setting spray. And lastly, I'm going in with YSL The Shock Mascara to finish off the eyes. This is what makes it. Okay, so from here, I'm just gonna tap a little bit of lip balm onto the lipstick that's already there. From here, it's just adding where you want to add things. I'm gonna add a little more bronzer, and that is romantic makeup look. From here, if you want to add anything like an inner corner shimmer, more brow highlight, that's up to you. I think right here is the perfect natural daytime wearable, not too much but still soft, pretty, and sexy. If you try this out, let me know. Tag me, follow me, Instagram here. See you there. If you're interested in more tutorials, more date night glam ideas, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye!